The CEO of Robinhood claims that Bitcoin and cryptocurrency will inevitably supplant traditional finance. XRP holders, welcome back to the CryptoZX channel. Thank you for looking across the board today, as usual. You know, during the past 48 hours, we've started to see a lot of green everywhere. In fact, the cryptocurrency space has seen double-digit growth. Market is experiencing a lot of love, you know. As I mentioned earlier, we have just 1 week left to finish the first half. The best way to end June is to do this, even though the year is wild to think about. Hopefully then we maintain this momentum. However, the outlook for the second half of the year is really promising. Additionally, I believe there is still a lot of excitement to come, but keep an eye on everything and know once more the price of green XRP has increased by roughly 2.5% over the last day, while the USD has increased by roughly 1%. Bitcoin's price is comparable at $2.19, with a valuation of $129 billion and a trading volume of roughly $3 billion over the same period. As always, though, before we go any further, let me simply say that nothing on this channel is financial advice. Always. Conduct your own research and due diligence before making a cryptocurrency investment. We discuss, you know, how traditional finance will inevitably be replaced. Take a look at the current state of the digital asset market. Examine the current state of Bitcoin. Take a look at the ETF, the tokenization trend, and the areas of true interest. Furthermore, I firmly think that more and more people will begin to recognize the possibilities of the digital asset market. It's clear that many large companies are beginning to pay attention to blockchain technology and integrate it into their infrastructure. And I firmly believe that large corporations will soon start to store cryptocurrency on their balance sheets as a standard practice. It's already taking place. And I believe that it will reach a new level in terms of scale. However, please share your thoughts here. As always, I appreciate you all. However, have a look at this. The New York Stock Exchange and the SEC Crypto Task Force convened to talk about methods to crypto regulation. Tokenized stock trading, a general listing standard for spot crypto ETPs, and fostering fair competition among market participants were all on the agenda. Participants, furthermore, the Ripple Enterprise Payments, a major offering from Ripple Payments, which was once known as Ripple Nets, are your main metric. Smoke claims that the worldwide FX market is already 90% covered by the Ripple Enterprise Payments network. The global FX market has a daily volume of $7.5 trillion, which is more than $2.7 quadrillion annually. But take a look at this. Important parameters for traditional and cryptocurrency distributions: 80+ lifetime transactions, 27 million transactions totaling $50 billion, 90%. Coverage of the global FX market, and more than 30 payment licenses. We discuss utility and real-world use cases, and this is one of the many examples that we shouldn't really be ignoring. Insane stuff that many people ignore, and this is you. According to Paul Barron, XRP activity is increasing. Is this an XRP ETF setup? Are there indications that the XRP ETF is imminent given the launch of the VanEck MVD app? In my opinion, the XRP ETF is closer than we realize, particularly in light of the events in Canada. In fact, Canada already has a place in the XRP ETF. First, spot ETF. For XRP, the native token listed on the XRP ledger. And when you take a look at this, it really helps us comprehend which way we're actually going. Fed stock. According to Jerome Powell, banks are allowed to engage in cryptocurrency-related operations and offer banking services to the sector. You don't realize how enormous this is. This is really significant news in my opinion. I believe the market would have exploded a few years ago if this had been released. You have no idea how enormous this is. The banks you are viewing are free. They're not saying that he won't come out and say it in a tiny credit union, It's not like tiny lenders, are you? We're referring to banks' overall freedom to engage in cryptocurrency activities and to offer banking services to the cryptocurrency sector. I have given you guys a perfect example over the years, which is that if you were to walk into a bank and mention cryptocurrency, they would simply start to panic because we are beginning to see regulation and your cryptocurrency being taken seriously. Okay? And now, it's getting approved and these banks are probably thrilled about it because they want to have a piece of the action. This is revolutionary, and as time goes on, we will be able to determine its true scope. There is a huge signal directly in front of us. Pay attention to this. The amount of XRP available on key exchanges has not decreased significantly. Using this extensive list, you may monitor the hourly exchange while actually purchasing XRP. Given the ledger, there is undoubtedly conjecture that the XRP reserve did experience a significant decline. However, that is actually stated to just sort of look at it from this perspective. I wanted to share it with you all, but first have a look at this, Vincent made a really intriguing statement. Therefore, I'm not sure if Brito's post was significant. However, as the court document confirms, there are 1,700 NDAs with, God knows who, and we know it's coming. You never know when you might have prayed for patience or wished you had more patience than you have. The extra patience we have gained would make the Tab 10 monks proud. In other words, regardless of what you look at, we have 1,700 NDAs generally. As for the 1,700 NDAs, well, ever since the main document was revealed, a lot of people have been discussing what these NDAs might be, including which businesses or individuals do not want to disclose. We obviously don't know, but I believe that will start to develop gradually. It's really exciting stuff. However, we should examine the prices.